No, yeah, but what you said right there, it is true that people they do expect to have instantaneous shipping like Amazon 2-day shipping, but usually what people do at print on demand, they have their own Shopify store or drop shipping stores that have their stuff on Alibaba, and it takes like a week or so to get sent uh, to their customer.
Yeah, for sure. Especially just like, well, like it's like, yeah, especially now, like people have this like false expectation from Amazon and like they expect their items to be delivered like next day or like same day. And then if you're drop shipping, I mean, you're going to have delays from COVID, like period, just because a lot of
Mm-hmm.
stuff comes from overseas. So that was one of the main reasons like why like we really focus on fulfilling in-house, was just to get rid of that middleman and like not really have to like worry about like, oh, is this order going to take 2 months to get somewhere just because of like a border shutdown, or like if there's a facility shutdown at a manufacturer that like we don't know about, but they're still like advertising this product on like a middleman website, and then all of a sudden like this item is like shipped from them, and then we get a chargeback because it's taken 6 weeks, 7 weeks. So like we just cut that completely out, because
Mm-hmm.
I mean I feel like that's what you have to do to like build like an e-commerce brand. Like you can start, I always say like start with drop shipping, but then like as you start to grow, like always try to like bring it back to like actually starting like to build it as a business, just because that makes more sense in the long run. Like you can drop ship like one product for like a couple months and like make like a stupid amount of money, but like that product is either going to wear out, or like you're not going to be able to morph into like an actual brand. And then you've built this Facebook pixel that has like certain data for this one store product, and then like it could just be a super waste. So like if you can just like build like your product off of drop shipping and then build it into a brand, like that's like the best way that I think to do it, especially now.
Wait, before we even dive on on that
Sorry, yeah.
tactic, no, it's cool. No, I like that though, because it is true what you say. We can go on that forever. But before we talk about the tactics and drop shipping and whatnot, give us your origin story of how you got
Yeah,
into
for sure.
e-commerce.
Yeah, for sure. So like back in 2012, I actually I started a business, an actual retail store, and it was I had no idea, honestly I had no idea what I was going to do, but I knew that I wanted to have some sort of business. And I was walking through like the local mall, and I saw like this a storefront that had gone out of that was going out of business. They had a big sale, and I was like, dope. Like I want to open a business, and I should open like a clothing store or like a streetwear store in that space. And I had my heart set, like I want that
Mhm.
space. It was super crazy. I was like 19 years old, right? And so I got a hold of the mall, and like I ended up like signing this lease. And then I had no idea like what I was going to put in the store, like what I was going to call it or anything. It was just like a super like backwards business plan, because I was like, hey, like if I sell something and I have a store, like I'm going to be a millionaire. Like I had like this like false perception of like what a business, like running a business and being an entrepreneur meant. So I mean, over the course of like 5 months, I like was able to throw this store together, and we opened in 2013 in May. And it was like super crazy. Like I didn't have any staff or anything. I had like literally net 30 to all of my inventory. So like I had like maybe like $10,000 worth of inventory in this 900 square foot space, that literally everything was like net 30. So I owed that in 30 days after the store had opened. So I was like, yeah, I'm just going to make this work. And I mean, it didn't work out that well, but over the course of that year, I mean, like obviously I had like all of these like net 30s that were like age like 180 days now, 200 days. And so I ended up being able to land like an angel investor off of this, just like this super random like whim that I had met this guy through like a connect that I had. And I just like told him my story, and I told him like where the brand, like where this brand was going to go, and like what this store was going to do. And that same week I had got an offer from the mall to open a second location in a different state. I was like, dope. So let's take it. And I had no money to open that store, but I had this angel that was like super in. And so he ended up like writing me a $60,000 check after like 2 meetings. And so over the course of 2013-14, I ran this store, and I was like super hesitant to do e-commerce because I had no idea like what to do or how to do e-commerce. So I completely missed the boat, and I just stuck with physical retail. And I ended up like shooting myself in the foot because e-commerce popped off, and I had these stores that literally had I couldn't move them into an e-commerce brand at this point. So I had to get rid of, I mean, I just had to like completely scrap my idea, and I was like $100,000 in debt. And I had all of this, like, I had all these like leases that I had to like back out of. And it was like a really big mess, honestly. I was like 22 years old. And
Sheesh.
so then I ended up like, I was kind of freaked out from the whole like entrepreneurial thing and like running a business. So I ended up like on a like on another random whim, I ended up getting signed with a modeling agency in Los Angeles. And so I ended up modeling, and like I didn't realize like that being a model was actually like running your own business, because like in the business being yourself, because like you have to market yourself out here and you have to like try to land these jobs. Like even if you have an agent or whatever, like it was like a super, like it was a super big hustle, honestly, to try to like, because there's so many people out here trying to do it, to try to be like the best one to get onto the train, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up getting dropped from my modeling agency in 2017. So that was like another setback. I was like, damn, like, what am I doing wrong here? Like, I was like, I just wanted to be rich. I think, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I had like, I didn't really understand business and like how, like what I was doing. I just like wanted the money. I just
So
wanted to get
nothing
the
came
bag,
into
you know?
fruition yet. Not your retail
No,
store, not with modeling, nothing.
nothing. So like, we're like, what, 5 years into this whole journey, and I had like literally gone nowhere.
And you
Just
didn't go
like
to college, right? To
pile.
give context
No,
here. Okay.
no, I didn't. So I had like, I mean, I did. I went like a couple semesters, but like,
Okay.
yeah, it wasn't worth it. And um, so then I ended up like a couple months after like the agency dropped me, I was like, okay. I started like looking at e-commerce again, and I started reading about drop shipping, and I was like, okay, this could be like a super like interest. Sorry, I just activated. This could be like a super interesting deal, because I don't have to hold inventory anymore, because that was my biggest issue in the first place, was having all these net 30s of these inventory that I actually had to like pay back. So I was like, okay. So I started learning about it. I started my first drop shipping store, and I was like super nervous, because I once again was like, I still had all this debt, right? That I'm like slowly like just like throwing cash at from like random jobs and like bartending and all this stuff. And so I just like, I started a Facebook ad the same day. I had no idea how to build an e-commerce store. Just went on Shopify, tossed it together real fast, put some products on there that I thought I'd like. And within like 2 days, I had like 3 sales, and I had only spent like $25 on advertising. So I was like, okay, like I think that we could do this. And then like I had like just completely like dove in over the like the course of, this was August 2018, right? So over the course of August to September, I was like, okay, I'm gonna make this like, I'm gonna make this my job. And I did, bro. I actually started that first year. I was able to turn that what $200 of the initial investment into $30,000 from August to December, with like Black Friday being like, it was actually Halloween. Halloween 2018 was when it like flipped, and like all of a sudden I saw like a steady amount of sales. And I think that's just because like my Facebook pixel, and like I built an Instagram page up, and I mean I only had like maybe 2,000 followers, but still like I just like built this like little community around this dropshipping brand. So then over the course of 2019, I was able to, I can actually pull my numbers right here. I was able to pull in
That same
about
store?
yeah, about $420,000
Sheesh.
in 2019. So I was like, okay, this is crazy. So like, that's when I was like, let's like brand this, and I'm going to bring everything in, and I'm going to actually like turn this into a brand. And like I had done like little stores here and there, just like make some money, you know, and like saw success with it, but like never anything like my main store, where I like really just like focused on like really pushing it to be a brand. Like I just like, you know, if I came short off of the main store one month, I'd come up with a couple other drop shipping stores and just like do some hustling, you know, to make the ads meet and to like be able to pay my ad budget. So then over the course of, like I said, 2019, I completely like can turn this like drop shipping store into an actual business, and brought in about $425,000 in revenue. And then it was last Christmas, so a year ago, I just like I boosted the hell out of my Facebook account. And I like was spending like, I think I was spending like $2,000 a day, which was like crazy for me, right? And so maybe like 1,500. We'll save 1,500 right there. And I was like, okay, we had like a $60,000 months last December, and I was like, okay, so like this is cool. But then like I had started like fulfilling then, so like we had like what 1,000 orders to fulfill. So I was like, okay, don't like this is actually the job I was asking for. Like this is my job. And so then over the course of 2020, let's go up to March, like things were like super dope, right? And like sales are coming in, And then like we started like hitting these like crazy walls with like manufacturing and like shipping times. And then because like everything is manufactured for us in China. So January, like they completely stopped like
Oh
working
yeah.
completely. And I was like, damn, like I have
Yeah.
like I had like a good like steady flow of like, okay, we can like sell this product, like, and then this shipment's gonna come in like a day later. And like we were like, you know, we had like a super good system going, but with that like manufacturing completely like it like fucked us for a minute. And March like was our worst month ever. And I was like, damn, like it's over. Like I don't know what we're gonna do. And like the Facebook really like started cracking down on like feedback and stuff. So like we really had to make sure that like if we had orders that weren't going to be fulfilled, like we just had to like refund them and give them the money back. And so that was March. And then over the course of April and May, like I think like people getting their stimulus checks and then people learning to shop online, we went to having the best month that the brand had ever had. So like it was March was the worst in the store, and then May was the best. So like over the course of like 60 days, like e-commerce had completely flipped a circle. And then this summer, like things built up. We were hitting like 60, $70,000 months. And then that's when I was like, okay, like we could actually dedicate this, and like we could actually start spending like a good amount of money on advertising and like getting some like influencers out there. And then this month, I mean, in the past week, we've done about $40,000 in sales, and just like completely like this is like this true hustle of like e-commerce. And like I just like look back to like everybody that I've looked up to, like Jake Kassan from like Movement and stuff, and just seeing like how they built like these like drop shipping stores, but they never like pushed their brand as a drop shipping brand. They like
Hmm.
always like that was like the secret behind it. And then once like they had that like initial revenue, then they boosted it into a brand. And like that's like the kind of that's where I was like, okay, this is how e-commerce really should be. It's like drop shipping should be your like I used it as my like my test product to see like what was going to sell and what was going to do good, and then just like took those winning items and just pushed it.
Wait, but did you get your success from that very first product? Because you said that you found that
Yeah.
product because it's what you liked. Did you do any market research?
No, I had no idea what I was doing. So like I was
Oh.
like literally it was kind of like just like a mixture of luck, and maybe it was like my time. Like I'd
Hmm.
hustled for so long, and I was like I knew like what people were looking for. Like I'm in the apparel and like accessories and all this like this niche. And so that was kind of like up the alley of like what I'd been doing with the modeling. So like I'd seen what like people were looking for, and I had like heard of print on demand, but I was like that sounds like super scammy and super like this was back in 2017, 18. I was like, that sounds scammy. Like I don't think like that's like a really cool thing. And now like major brands are doing this, like super like the big brands are like have these like the secret of like selling the product and then printing these shirts afterwards. And it's
Hmm.
like everybody was so ahead of the train, but I was like so hesitant, which is so crazy because I was like early 20s, like it's like the internet age. And it was like so crazy. But then like when I really dedicated to learning like what was like market research and like the winning products were, then I was like, okay, like this actually fits into this like mold of what I was looking for,
Okay.
what
And
people
right
are
now,
looking for.
right? So you're running this brand right now. But have you created any other stores, or are you just totally focused on this one?
Right now I'm focused on this one, but yeah, over the course of the past year, I've like, I mean, I have a bunch of ad accounts and a bunch of like little stores out there that I've worked with and that I've started, and just like like one like these winning products and just kind of run them dry, you know, just to make some extra cash. But this one, like my one store is one like I like it's like a niche store. So like I can add
Hmm.
more products to it as opposed to having a one product store. So like I can add more products, and like I can kind of morph it into like this one, like this big thing. And yeah, but it's just this one store that's like just I just push the hell out of it,
If you're to
especially on
look,
Facebook.
if you're to look back, do you think the reason why your store was so successful is because maybe it was a niche store, right? But maybe no one else was pushing it like you were, or maybe a different category and the way you market it to a specific audience was different.
I don't know. When I first, it was crazy because when I first started, I was like, oh, like this product, like no, I haven't seen this anywhere. And then like literally 3 days into doing it, I was getting targeted ads from like the same like kind of like niche and like the same like
Hmm.
looking products. And I was like, okay, maybe this isn't as like niche as I thought, but I just like took what they were doing. Like I saw what they were doing with the similar products, and I was like, okay, let's just like do this better. and let's make this. I mean, when you look at like, when I look at like a store, I can kind of like get a good idea of like what kind of like background this has, like if it's like going to be a drop shipping store, or like if this is like a super solid drop shipping company, or if this is somebody who has a lot of experience with it. And like I could tell that this product was not being built by like people who really understood like e-commerce. And so I was like, okay, I need to learn this and I need to do it better than they're doing it, because obviously if they're advertising, they're making sales. So we just have to take all those sales from them and just do better than they're doing. And that's what
Hmm.
I do with like other products and stuff. Like, why reinvent the wheel when like you can like take a winning product or like a winning niche and just do it better than everybody else.
So is that like kind of the marketing angle? You can take that same product, but maybe market it to a different audience, or maybe even brand it a lot better.
Yeah. See, my big thing is the unboxing experience. Like I always talk about this, is like I like to have, even if it's a drop shipping product, like why not make an unboxing experience? Make everything like have your like inserts like super branded, a box that's branded, and make this like something that somebody's going to take an Instagram video and post it on their personal Instagram. Maybe even if they only have like 200 followers, like that's like 200 more eyes potentially that like have
Hmm.
not seen this product. And especially like with that unboxing experience, like what like really makes, like when you buy an iPhone, like think about it, like people always talk about like the box opening, like it's always about this unboxing experience, especially with like our generation. And so that's something that I always like started from the get-go. I was like, I need to have like an unboxing experience with everything. So like I always invest a little bit if I'm drop shipping, and like I'll send like branded boxes to the like the supplier wherever they're at. If they're in like China, or if we use Spock or whatever, I get a hold of them and I send them my materials that I want shipped with it, as opposed to just relying on them to put it in like a manila envelope and hopefully it gets there in 2 months.
Hmm.
So, and that's kind of like a peace offering too, because if they open up this product and it's like branded and has like an unboxing experience, and it took them like a month and a half to get to you, like you're like, okay, like this is actually, and this was worth the wait. So it's kind of like, it just helps that like integrity of the product or the brand, like, or the store.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest problems that entrepreneurs or dropshippers talk about, where, you can get any product online, right, from China and send it to here in the US, but the brand experience, it comes in a very generic sort of box, right? There's no brand experience there. Now, of course, as you make more money, you can reinvest in a business. Now, how does the logistics look like when you get your own box, your own brand experience materials, and then you send it over to the supplier, or do they do it for you over there?
Yeah, no, they'll never do it for us. But
Okay.
I have one like supplier that I work with for packaging, and like so like I can hit him up on text or like WhatsApp and be like, okay, like I need this exact box. I need it to look like this. Like I'll send him like a leak, even like a shitty sketch, like on a
Mm-hmm.
notepad. And he'll make that, and then I'll get a hold of the supplier where I'm gonna purchase these products from. And I'm gonna be like, hey, is it okay if I send you a pallet of these boxes or this packaging for these orders? And like 99% of the time, I've never had them tell me no, because they're like, yeah, of course. I've never been told no on that. So it's like literally just like being like, hey, I'm going to send this. This is where I want you to ship it in. And it's like never been like a
Mm-hmm.
logistics issue or anything.
Now, of course, reinvesting your money in the brand is important, but are you just a one-man band here, or did you hire employees over a period of time?
No. So like I don't hire employees, but I do. Um, I have my girlfriend work for me. And so she does like customer service and like the emails and that kind of stuff. And like occasionally, like during peak season, like I should hire employees, but I'm like, I have such a hard time like letting go of that. Like, it's so bad. Like, I shouldn't even say this. Like, just like paying people to like do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when I could like take that money and like either invest it in myself or another product. Like, if I have to work all night long to save that money, like that's totally dope with me. Like, I don't care. So like that's kind of my mindset. And a lot of times that really like shoots me because I like get wore down, or like I don't have enough time to do like other things. I don't have enough time to like reply to emails or like, like just like
Yeah,
basic life stuff. So, but
because
I
you're
mean,
working because you're working in the business and not really on the business. You're not maybe focusing on things that will move the needle, right?
exactly, exactly. I do have people that work for me on the marketing side right now. Like
Okay.
I have an agency that does that for me just because I like I'm like I know Facebook marketing like the back of my hand. Like I can like I know I could set up an ad account right now and like start having conversions within like the next couple of days. But like why not take like my knowledge and compare it with somebody else's knowledge and like really like bust out an ad account. So like I have an
Mhm.
agency that works with me and like a good team there. And then like for like creatives and stuff, I always like have freelancers or like I'll just go on Instagram and I'll see like other brands if they've tagged the photographer. I know a lot of photographers too, but if they tag the photographer, I'll just hit them up and be like, hey, do you want to work together? And usually they're like, yeah. Sometimes they're even like, yeah, just give me some of your product. I'm like, dope.
So of course you've been working on this brand by yourself, and of course it's very successful. You said over what 400K, 420K over the year.
Yeah. So this year we're at about almost 700K. So over the
Sheesh.
course of its lifetime, we've done about 1.1 million.
So basically, you know a lot because you've been operating this machine by yourself. So where do you think is
Yeah.
your strongest asset here? Is it the marketing, the branding, or the advertising?
Yeah, my strongest asset is definitely like the branding and like the creative end of it and like actually like making like like just like selling a product that people like want. Like I could literally like package like an ice cube and like it would be like the most like luxurious like dopest ice cube that you've ever got. Like that's like my super strong suit is building like this whole like culture around a brand. And I think that's something that like I've always wanted to do. And I think that I never really got to dive into it until I started doing ecom because I always had to worry about like working on a sales store or like coming like hustling up the money to pay the rent because I had all this debt or like trying to buy inventory and stuff. So like now that I can actually focus on like being creative and like still like diving into the brand and like have like a good like mixture, like I think that is where my strong suit is. And then of course like Facebook marketing and influencer marketing because I've come from that space, I know a lot about that. I'd say like my least best suit would probably be like the like dealing with customers and like because I just want to like if somebody's mad or like somebody's upset and like I have a policy in order, like I don't like of course I'm like I'll bend the rules, like I don't care, like I want to be nice to everybody, but then sometimes that like kind of gets taken advantage of and like if I like bust this policy for somebody else then I have to do it for this person and then this person and then like why even have like policies.
Mhm.
And then like shipping, I think that like me like actually focusing and like packaging orders like it I have to have my computer next to me and like I get super distracted and I like talk and like the actually like focusing on that. Like I'm not bad at it, but I'm not good at it. It just takes me a little longer than it should.
It's really surprising to me, to be honest. I mean, I've never made a dropshipping store, but it's just crazy how, how, in general, in the US, very consumer centric, right? And
Yeah.
you can sell a product that will come in 2 months, 1 month, a couple of weeks. And of course, people are used to having 2-day shipping on Amazon. But
Yeah.
if you have a good product or a good brand, eventually through dropshipping, people are still going to buy your product, especially if you have a good ad on Facebook, right?
Yeah. And honestly, like that's crazy that you mentioned that because the ad that I'm using right, like my winning ad, it's not the ad I'm using right now, I don't think, but like my winning ad set is an ad that I created back when I first started. Like that one still has like my best ROAS and it still has like the best CPAs and everything. Like even if I turn that ad on, like the conversions like go like through the roof, which is super crazy because like it's nothing fancy. It's like a carousel of like the product images. And I think it's just like maybe the ad copy I've written. And it was like something like I said, it was like 2 weeks into running this business and I had no idea what I was doing. So I had like the ad doesn't like it's nothing spectacular. It's not a video ad. It's just a static image ad. And so like anytime like I try to like up the game or like we do CGI images now and like they like do good, but like this like shitty ad set that I had at first like still like performs the best, which is super crazy. So I think it's just like a fact of like just like taking like even if like what I think is going to be successful in like a creative sense, like all sometimes always isn't, but like still like it could be like a dope collab. But like one thing like I always have to think like no matter if I don't like it, if it's like performing well or it's like doing well, just have to like keep going in that direction and kind of let the customers guide us into what direction the ads should go and the creative should go. Because like if I think like having like black packaging is dope and then like people are like, oh, everybody's doing this, you should do white or you should do red. And I'm like, no, but like the branding is black. But then we switch that and like everybody's like start sharing it more. Like that kind of stuff like really happens. So like you just kind of have, I just kind of have to learn to let the customers guide the brands or the stores, and then kind of just do what they're telling me to do, especially
For
on the
sure.
creative end.
Now, when you run your ads, what do you think are the most, I guess, the ads that work the best? You know, so for example, maybe the carousel, maybe it's a video ad, maybe it's just a static image. What do you think converts the
Yeah. So
best?
as far as the creative aspect, it's definitely for us is the static images, a carousel of like actual products. I noticed that like lifestyle stuff hasn't been doing as well lately. It's literally just like white background with the product on like a carousel. And then, I mean, like I think that like having that as like your base like ad set. I always have all my ads set for conversions, but like having that one, like if I'm going to have one like not set for like if I'm gonna have one set for clicks or whatever, I'm gonna have that be a lifestyle image because that's going to be like more interactive content, and that's what people are like going to comment
Hmm.
on more. Especially if like you have a T-shirt or a pair of jeans and like they're standing like next to like the Santa Monica Pier or something, people are gonna be like, "Oh, like I love the Santa Monica Pier." I'm like, "Well, you're missing the whole concept, but thanks for the engagement." So like that's like it's the best ad sets that I've noticed are like the like I said the carousel with the product, and then like have the mixture of a completely separate just to build the engagements of like lifestyle images and like maybe boost those posts and maybe don't even create an ad set out of them.
Mm. So can you say what type of products you sell on your store?
Yeah, so it's apparel and like accessories and stuff.
But it's, yeah, I mean, of course, you can't say it exactly what it is, but it's geared to a specific niche, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's like yeah, it's like mid luxury of like streetwear and like the accessory, like more accessory end, and like we've like done stuff with like hype beasts and stuff, and like I'm doing like with like doing TikTok and stuff. Like I have like I don't know why I don't ever say my brand, but like I've seen like people out there like I get asked this all the time. People are like you're fake. I'm like okay, like I don't care if you think that, but I've seen like people out there that like put their brand and like they like show like the back end and the sales of their brand, and then like people like for some reason don't like that or they get jealous and like they personally like attack them, and like they'll like get a bunch of people or a bunch of bots and like have their like Instagram page taken down, and like so like putting that out there has always been super like hesitant for me, especially with like showing like the like oh yeah we've made $1 million on the store, and then like I'm not afraid of somebody taking the idea. I'm more afraid of like somebody like trying to like sabotage or somebody like trying to like blacklist the Facebook, because
Hmm.
like we rely so heavy on that, and Facebook's so geared towards customer feedback and like ad feedback that like it's so like I think like I there's times where I'm like I should just like tell people the brand because it's gonna like push like sales and it's gonna push revenue, and I'm like I just get I don't know, it's so crazy because like I said I've seen it happen to other people and they're like yeah I showed my sales numbers, and then like I showed how like we like built this brand, and then like people like started like attacking the Facebook page, or people started like trying to get the Instagram taken down. And like that's really not hard to do. Like if like me, you, and like 5 other people went and like gave somebody negative feedback on their Facebook account, like it's over. Like Facebook will deactivate them. Like it's crazy.
I think it's all real. It all depends what you want, because say you want to show off your ad account or whatever it is, maybe you're doing it for a reason to really help out others how to build their brand and whatnot, and you're using that to, I guess, if you want to coach or be a mentor of some kind, then maybe that can help. Because on TikTok, there's a bunch of people selling products, cosmetics products, and they're the face of the brand, quite literally, right? And
Yeah.
maybe they don't show their ad account, but they're showing themselves creating the product, creating the cosmetics. And because people love the person nowadays, consumers, they don't want a logo, they want a person representing the brand.
Yeah.
They're more willing to buy it, and maybe that's why it can make sense for the brand to be run by a person, and that person could be very, very transparent, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Like you have to think of like the big brands that like do like crazy numbers, like you said, like especially in like the cosmetics and like the beauty side. Like I think that that is like kind of like a necessity now to be for somebody to
Mm-hmm.
be like show their like be the brand. But like you think of like Kim Kardashian and Skims, like people really aren't buying her like shapewear for like being shapewear. They're buying it because Kim Kardashian made it. Or like Talentless, like people really don't like his stuff is like his sweatsuits are dope, but like people aren't spending $150 on them because like they want to. They're doing it because Scott Disick made it, or like that kind of stuff, you know? And
Yeah.
so it just adds the brand value, but then like at the same time, like you said, their numbers, but like I don't know, like it's just weird because it's like you get into like this weird like spot of like, am I like, okay, yeah, I drop ship, but like, is this the drop shipping brand? No. Is this like an actual brand? Like we're pitching to investors and like all this stuff. It's like, yes. So like, why don't you say it? Like, why can't you say it? And it's like, it's just like this weird, like little like margin. Like personally, like, I don't set out to be like a mentor or like be like a guru or anything. Like, I mean, yeah, the hustle's cool and like they're making a lot of money, like don't get me wrong, but like that's not like the kind of like I guess I just don't have like that kind of like effort to put down. Like I would rather be doing the, like I said, the creative side, like as opposed to like telling somebody what to do or teaching them. I think that like just doing it myself and like having like 12 brands as opposed to having somebody else do that for me.
Mm-hmm.
So then like I don't feel like I don't know like where like I don't know where it lands of like showing the products and showing the back end. So it's like this like weird like curvy road for me personally of like what to actually say and like what to actually show. Cause like I feel like I could show the brand or I could show the drop shipping numbers or I could show the e-commerce numbers, but like what do people like, what is going to be the repercussions from all of this? Like, you know, if that makes sense what I'm trying to
No,
say?
no, yeah, it's still, yeah, it's still a very uh, tricky situation. I don't know if it's too binary if you should do it or not. It really does depend. And you know, on your content through TikTok, YouTube, do you really talk about your brand a lot and the things that you're doing to kind of share to the audience on what they have to do as well?
No. So like I talk about like the people like my viewers and stuff like are super interested in drop shipping and like
Mm-hmm.
that's where like I started and that's like what I know. And so like that's kind of what I gear my content towards, even though like I have turned a drop shipping store into like a brand. Like a lot of the people that view my videos, they either aren't there yet or they aren't interested in building a brand. They're more interested in seeing like how to start, like how to make the quick money. I mean, if you
Yeah.
can call it quick money in e-commerce, but they just want to see like the like how much you're making and like what like that's what interests them. And so that's what I show. Like that's I showed like the numbers. Like I mean, yeah, that's crazy. Like making one at like $1.1 million over the course of 2 years, like on e-commerce, like isn't anything like super spectacular. I mean, that's great, but it's nothing like super spectacular. Like you have like
Mm-hmm.
this like Greta Van Reel and stuff. Like she's out here and she's made like $1 million in one day. Or like you have like drop shippers that like they're 3 months in and they're making like $50,000 a week. And like that wasn't the case. Like everything was super slow for me. But like now but I feel like I was able to like build some traction and actually like extend this
Yeah.
15 minutes of drop shipping into like an actual business where like most people wouldn't be able to do that.
So you don't think it makes sense to really create a brand from the get-go? You think it's better to actually just get some revenue, right? And then once you have your profit, reinvest that into the business so you can actually create a brand around your dropshipping store eventually.
Yeah, 100%. Like I went that route, bro, at first. I started a brand, I started a store, right? And like that did not work out for me. Like it ended up like there's just too many variables. Like if you like dedicate to one thing, like you might order like 100 units or like 1,000 units of something, and then it doesn't sell, and like you're stuck with this, and but you like spent your money on it. Whereas drop shipping, you can test your products. It's like this magic thing because you can test your products before you actually sell them and you can actually see if your customers are even going to like that before you have to purchase in bulk.
Yeah.
So it's like a super cool test.
What do you think makes a brand a brand? Like, say, for example, we have the exact same formula as Coca-Cola, different logo, of course, but, you know, the exact same formula, right? You know, maybe
Yeah.
the same shaped bottle, but it's not Coca-Cola, right? What do you think makes a brand a brand? Because, of course, people say it takes 5 to 10 years to build one for word of mouth to go around. And, of course, you can have the best AdSense or best copy, best creatives. But do you think it's just time and just consistency that makes a brand a brand?
Well, I mean, I think that definitely has something to do with it. Like the longevities of brands like Hermes and stuff, like they're like 100-year old, like hundreds of years old brands. But like also like building a brand, like is making like that emotional connection with a customer. Like even if it's just through like your like if you build like a story about your store or like your brand, like if you like come up with this like origin story of like and like obviously like every origin story for every brand is kind of exaggerated. Like that's even Louis Vuitton and stuff. Like everything's exaggerated to make that emotional connection. But like if you can get somebody like emotionally connected with a story or with your like imagery or your feel, like a lot like this simple modern, like the minimalistic stuff, the branding that people do, like that for some reason that triggers some sort of like millennial luxury in people, and that's what they that will like make you purchase just because I have a like if we have the same product, like if we're selling the same t-shirt, like literally the same tag and everything, but I have like on my ad set and of like I can like I don't even know like a copy of somebody like an ad set copy that of somebody that is going to make an emotional connection with something from like their childhood or something, and you're just showing like somebody standing there up against a brick wall with the same t-shirt on, people are automatically going to be gravitated towards mine, even though mine might be like $200 more than yours.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like that branding comes with just like that the feels and the emotional connection. I mean, I think that any like major like branding agency would probably tell you the same thing. Like I've talked to somebody that he has like he charges like $100,000 per client just to build a logo, right? And
Sheesh.
I was just like DMing with him, and like
Yeah.
he was telling me like, yeah, people like really like get like into like this like modern like minimalistic like logo with just like a base Helvetica font with like a period at the end, and like for some reason like people have like a connection to that is like a e-commerce, like the next big thing of e-commerce, like branding or whatever. I don't know. Like, it's just like the craziest thing. Like just if you can like find that emotional connect and tap people with it, guarantee you're going to tap everybody else. And like, you're going to be able to build a brand around a product that way.
So what do you do right now, or what are your plans to have, a stronger connection besides having the experience of, the packaging?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, like that's kind of where we're at is with just the packaging and like
Okay.
building that like story. But like as we sell and as we like continue on this journey over these years of trying to brand this, like we're like we work on our emotional connection with like with through customer service, and like we do giveaways and stuff, and like just like that kind of thing. Like we'll like donate to like nonprofits or like wherever like our customers like want us to like put some money or like put some efforts in, like just like letting them guide us like in that way. Like maybe like somebody wants to donate to a cause but they don't have the money, and like they're like, oh, like I wish like this purchase, like 1% of like this purchase for this day went to that. Like, it's just like that emotional connection. Like, oh, you're helping a cause that I'm passionate about, but I
Hmm.
want this product because I'm greedy, so I'm going to buy this product and then allow you to give to them. So like that's like just like those kind of deals, just like continually trying to make that emotional connection with people.
And what about content? Do you have maybe a blog, a newsletter? You go heavy on social media for your brand. Is that things that you're working on as well?
I mean, like the heaviest I go on social media is with the ads,
Hmm.
but like we try to post like daily. I mean, sometimes it doesn't work out, that. And then, I mean, yeah, it's just like basically just all from the back end and just like making that like small connection, like I said, like through an email or whatever.
Hmm.
Like, especially if I'm trying to get feedback, what I'll do is I'll write everybody that's purchased within a certain amount of time, like a personal email. And like, I mean, obviously it's copy and paste, but like I'll send it like from like an email address that's not customer service or like a no reply email, and just try to like get on like a personal level with them. So I mean, that's something that over the next year, like we're going to really focus on too, especially with like the pandemic and people like, I feel like everybody's like super like emotionally needy right now because of
Oh, for
everything
sure.
going on. So if I purchase a t-shirt from somebody and they like write out to me to tell me like, hope you're having a good day or something, like that's like automatically like emotional connection with them. And like if I want a t-shirt or I need like a new tank next summer and they like have a drop or whatever, like I'm definitely gonna go with them because of that one email and that one interaction that we had. So like that's something that we're like really banking on works.
No,
It's
for sure,
working,
man.
but yeah.
Do you think it's important, or not imperative, but I guess recommended to, if you're going to find a product, a dropshipping product, of course you can like look at the market and see maybe what can you fill in that gap, right? But is it better to find a product that you genuinely like? Because for example, in your case, you said you like streetwear and that sort of stuff in your niche, and that's why you probably chose that product because you feel more connected to it. And because you feel more connected to it, you're gonna work as hard as you can, and it probably doesn't feel like work working on your e-commerce shop because you're working on products that has an interest that you have an interest on.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like that's something that like it's like super like I'm like super passionate about like streetwear, like I said. But like I don't think that like if I was selling a product that like I wasn't as interested in, I don't think it would be different because I think like just being able to like take any product and like build like a creative aspect around it and just like I think that I could make myself like it, you know? Like even when I sell like stuff on drop shipping, so like if I come up with a quick drop shipping store to just try to make some money like real fast, I don't feel like I put in any less effort just because it's a product that I personally probably wouldn't purchase. I think that it just comes down to like like the making the money part. Like if I can make money off of it, I can make myself like it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like kind of.
Like going back to the ads, what are some insights that you've gotten over the years, over the period of time of making more money? Like what are some key insights that you saw that, okay, this is the ad that's really attracting people to buy my products?
Yeah, for sure. So like my whole winning like formula for building like an ad set is I have two campaigns. I have a prospecting and a retargeting. And like most people will tell you that you want to spend less on prospecting and more on retargeting, but I think that's the absolute opposite. So we spend like double on prospecting and then half of that is on retargeting, and everything's set for clicks and click conversions. And then my prospecting, like anytime, no matter what the product is, I will just set it for a full broad. Like I don't like have any interest. I don't have any bases. I literally would just show the ad to everybody because the Facebook algorithm and the Facebook pixel is actually like so powerful that like if you just let it do its work and like you let it find your customers, like you're going to have a successful business. Like that's how powerful this algorithm is. Like it's actually like beyond us. Like we will never know how strong this thing is. And so like I just kind of let it do the job for me. And then I retarget based on like interest and stuff. But even there, I don't get like too in depth on it and I don't try to limit myself because like who am I going to say that like these people based in these interests are going to want to purchase this product? You know, like maybe I'm wrong and
Mm-hmm.
maybe I'm like I actually like tank a campaign because of that. And then I'm like, oh, this product's dead. But in all reality, I just wasn't showing it to the right people and this product's like
Yeah.
super hot. So like I kind of just let the Facebook algorithm do its thing. And like that's my biggest key. People get so stuck on this whole thing of like, well, what interests and like who should I target? What should I target? Why can't I target these people? I'm like, dude, just like honestly, just let the thing do it for you, honestly.
Have you
That's what
seen
I
that
did.
happen? Like, say your target audience is, someone between 18 years old and 30 years old, male who live in, I don't know, USA, and that's your target audience right there. But if you let Facebook do its thing, you probably see, I don't know, a grandma buy your product. Have you seen like that to be true?
Yeah, for sure. So there's been like instances like one I can think of like I was like, okay, this product is like literally going to be women are gonna like this is going to be a women's store. Like that's who's gonna purchase this product. Absolute opposite. It was like 75% men and 25% women. And it completely like if I would have like targeted only women, I think that that product I wouldn't have made any money off of it, and it would have tanked that ad set and that creative. But just by leaving it open and like just allowing Facebook to do its thing, I was like pleasantly surprised. But I was also like, okay, like I probably am not always right when it comes to this. Like I would like to think I am, but I'm probably not always there. So just kind of that's when I kind of was like, I just kind of I kind of just dedicated myself to just to be like, okay, Facebook, do your thing because
Yeah.
I was wrong here and I'm probably going to be wrong in the future. And maybe I was wrong in the past. Maybe I wouldn't have lost all this money if I would have just like let the algorithm do its thing because I thought this person was going to be interested in World Star when they were definitely interested in like GQ, you know?
Hmm. Wait, so of course you can let Facebook do its thing, and if it flunks, I mean, do you have multiple ads, like maybe A/B testing to see maybe it was the copy or the creative itself that was just bad?
Yeah, for sure. And I think that that's also something that people like fail on because it's something that I failed on is thinking that like one creative is going to be sufficient and I don't have to test against that creative. So I always start like if I'm going to start something, do a video ad, a static ad, and then a lifestyle, and then I kind of let Facebook do its thing from there again. Oops, I let Facebook do its thing from there again, and let it pick that creative that's actually going to work. Cause
Mm-hmm.
like, I mean, a lot of times, like I've never like seen like my lifestyle stuff do super well, but like I'll still like when I first launch an ad set, like I'll still put it out there to see if it's going to get conversions. And a lot of time it just burns budget and just like gets clicks. But like I always like I'll go in with an open mindset. But like when it comes to targeting and stuff, no, I just always do full broad. But like I'll let the creatives like A and B test on each other.
Mm-hmm. And do you do any post where it's not just about conversions, but maybe it's a brand awareness ad, for example? Not
Rarely.
yet.
Yeah, super rarely. Like I think the only time I've ever done like a brand awareness campaign was when we did a giveaway just to get that
Okay.
engagement. But like if you're spending money on an ad set, like you better be making some money to pay for that, you know? So like I think that if I'm going to put a creative or if I'm going to put a campaign out there, I'm going to set it for clicks, even if I'm just trying to get engagement, because like at the end of the day, I need to make money off that ad to pay for those CPAs. And so clicks are not, so like, I don't know, brand awareness, I've never understood unless you're like Nordstrom or like Walmart. Like I don't see that really being a cost effective thing to do at all, actually.
Mm-hmm. So, Brent,
Maybe like a publication.
I only have like one last question, and I
No,
feel
you're good.
that a lot of like dropshipping entrepreneurs, maybe they look for the fast money. After 6 months, they expect
Hmm.
something. Of course, you've been in this for a while now. You're making tons of sales, a lot of revenue. And in your personal terms, what do you do, or what's your greatest ambition here? Do you want to, get a slice of your pie, meaning that you get a salary from your income from the store, and maybe put into stocks, real estate, etc., and grow your wealth, or do you just plan on using that money and reinvesting into other smaller e-commerce stores?
Yeah, it's for sure. Okay, so my whole thing, I mean, I always buy stocks. I'm always trading, and I'm always like that's my like secret side hustle that I don't really talk about
Mm-hmm.
because I don't think I'm like super knowledgeable on it to speak on it. But I have a super like sweet stock portfolio, but like at the end of the day, like what like a good exit for me is like either like selling a like turning a drop shipping store into a brand and then like selling that brand and doing like a buyout deal or
That'd be
like
dope.
yeah, or even like an IPO. Like obviously you can't take a drop shipping store and like a one product store and like have an IPO on that. But like I could like my whole thought process on is like I could take this like drop shipping store that I've turned into a brand and then I could do another one and turn that into a brand and then have like a brand of products or a brand of
Yeah.
stores and then have like a holding brand and that could potentially be like an exit via IPO. See, I always set like for like the actual like big business deals. Like I don't think like I like selling my store on like the Shopify exchange. Like that's not like an end goal for me. Do I don't think I'll do. I don't think this brand will last forever. I don't think like most brands really don't. So like there's going to be a time where it's going to have to either like I'm going to have to do something with it, you know, to make money and to be able to get out of it. And then like, yeah, I mean, I always like, I don't see myself like stopping working just to retire. Like even if like I do like real estate or like have like rental properties or like that kind of deal, like always be doing something to have that hustle going. And like even like investing in like other like on Start Engine and stuff, like I'll go invest in like little startups and stuff here and there, just buy some equity notes and like that kind of deal. Cause like why have like a bunch of liquid cash and like all that stuff, especially during this recession or like
Oh
whatever we're
yeah.
in right now. And then yeah, so like all my profits really go towards some other greater good that's going to benefit myself in the end.
No, yeah, I think that's always the key. Just really redistributing your income, your cash into other assets and whatnot.
Yeah, for sure. And like if I do end up like adding a bunch of more brands, like it's not going to be I can't do it forever like myself. So like it's going to have to come to a point where like we have a warehouse facility and a full staff and then like I can dedicate my time to like other side projects. But like for
Mm-hmm.
now, like just like this hustle of like learning every aspect, like it's just like I know that I could walk into a business venture, an e-commerce business venture, and know every single aspect of like fulfillment, customer service, marketing, branding, and like I've literally gone through every single step. And I think that's like just being able to do that has kind of like given me like an ego boost of like being able to do this again. And then like I'm gonna set my sets higher on like an
Oh, for
IPO or
sure.
a buyout.
Yeah, I mean, you've done this virtually all yourself, so you did steps A through Z, so you definitely know a lot. So Brandon,
Yeah.
if people want to find you or hit you up, where can they find you? And maybe DM you. Maybe they're at the point where they're making a lot of money, and maybe they want to create a brand around their e-commerce store. So if they want to have that knowledge, that insight, and hit you up, where can they find you?
Yeah, for sure. So like I'm just at Brandon Ganske, BrandonGanske on literally everything. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. It's just my name. And yeah, I always like take DMs and like I like talking to other people. Like people are like, "Hey, can you just look at my store?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's dope." Like I remember like doing that and like wanting people like, "Hey, will you just like tell me what's wrong with my landing page?" And yeah, like that's what we do. Like we help each other. Like I'm not going to sit here. I like honestly I hate when I'm like on TikTok and I'm scrolling through and I see somebody and then at the end of their TikTok it's like, but I have a $2,000 course. I'm like, that's like so not fair because like why I can't like I wouldn't feel comfortable taking like that money from somebody that like doesn't know what they're doing when they could put that $2,000 into building their brand or their store. So like yeah, I'm not like you'll never see Brandon Gansky come out with a course or anything, but it'll be always in the DMs open just to hit me up and say, "Hey, look at this," or "Hey, I have a question."
For sure. So I'll put that in the show notes. Anyone clicks on that, they can just hit you up and DM you there. All right, Brandon?
Yes, sir.
So, dude, it was a pleasure. I really do appreciate it.
For sure. Thank you so much. This was fun.
So, yeah, man, I'm going to have this podcast. It's going to be literally on every virtual like podcasting platform, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, etc. And of course, when I make the clips, I'll chop it up and put it on IG, some on TikTok. And of course, I'll put it on YouTube as well. All right.
Cool. Cool.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll link it back on all my stuff too.
So yeah, like when everything's uploaded and whatnot, I'll send you an email. If you want, you can share it to your audience. It's just a one-click thing that you can just do to share to your audience, and I'll send you
Cool.
some clips as well. All right, Brandon.
Dope, 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 dope.
All
Cool.
right,
Thank
man.
you.
Once again, bro, it was a pleasure. I do appreciate it.
All right, bro. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon.